Joining us from Newton, Massachusetts this morning, former Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney. Good morning.
Good morning, Harry.
Let's first talk about this headline out of Afghanistan, that there's not going to be a runoff election. You have Abdullah dropping out. The United States doesn't really have a partner in this country. As the president is trying to decide whether or not to send more troops, how much should that weigh on his decision? He doesn't really have somebody he can do business with there.
Well, it's very difficult in a counterinsurgency not to have a strong government and one that's backed by the people as a legitimate government. You really have to ask yourself why, with all at stake, this administration didn't take a more careful role in making sure the election was a fair election, supported by the people of Afghanistan. And by the way, this Hamlet performance that we're seeing out of the White House is very, very disconcerting. The president has known about this issue for a long time. He received the report from General McChrystal for, 4 months ago, and has not been able to make a decision. This is very, very unfortunate for the people there and for our troops.
Is it important to get this decision right, though, or should you take the time to contemplate it?
Well, of course you should get it right. And the president has been president for 9 months. Afghanistan was a centerpiece of his campaign. He's been speaking about it as president. He's had the McChrystal report for 4 months. And during the same time period, by the way, he's had enough time to do 30 campaign trips around the country. Look, with men and women dying in U.S. uniforms, the president ought to be focusing on getting them home safely, and stabilizing the situation in Afghanistan, rather than trying to reelect his friends.
Let's move on to the economy very quickly. You're a former investment banker. The stimulus has helped stabilize the economy to a degree, but it's the public spigot that has helped sort of keep it afloat. At what point do you turn it off and say this economy's got to live or die on its own?
Well, first of all, you have to recognize that the stimulus that the president and Congress passed is not what's helped this economy. As you recall, the scenario they forecast would occur without the stimulus is now the very scenario which they're forecasting is going to occur. So the jobless rate is going to hit 10%. We're not going to have any net new jobs until the third quarter of next year. That's what was supposed to happen without the stimulus. So their stimulus didn't work. And the right answer is to stop the stimulus that they've put in place, reform it, or scrap it, because it is not what's creating jobs in this country. Instead, it's the private sector. Look, anytime you try and stimulate government, you're not going to get the kind of private sector jobs you'd get if you instead stimulated the economy.
Let me ask you this final question. There's a battle going on right now for the soul of the Republican Party. Conservatives say there's no room for moderates there. Will this tactic save or kill the Republican Party?
Well, the Republican Party has always had a lot of voices, and we are going to continue to be a big tent party. The New York 23rd race had a very anomalous situation.
That's not a big tent.
Yeah, well, no, I disagree with you. You look across the elected Republicans in Congress and governor's offices, they represent a pretty wide perspective of issues. But New York 23rd was a very anomalous situation.
All right. Governor Romney, thanks so much for taking the time. Take care.
Thanks, Harry.